So now all of this has been laid out. I've put my masking tape on top. I've cut where I'm going to cut the tails. The masking tape is a brilliant idea. And I think I remember his name is Mike Pekovic, something along those lines. Anyway, the editor from Fine Woodworking. So that is a brilliant idea. So now, just a very brief word on the ratios. Now, the consensus was, no longer is, that 1/8 or 1:8 is, like I've got here, 1:8 is for hardwoods and 1:6 is for softwoods. Now that is a myth. That's it's been debunked. I don't know who made that up, but it's completely untrue. People in the past, craftsmen of the yesteryears, the ones in Europe, they never cared about what angle or ratio a dovetail is going to be. They just, like friend Klaus was taught, just cut away, and whatever angle that he cut it at was what he cut it at. Now, coming from the machinist age, we need to be a little bit more precise, I guess. But not that Frank was not from the machinist age, because he utilized every machinery he possibly could in his workshop, but he was very, very fast and accurate with his dovetails. So he's just as good with hand tools as he is with machinery, and he's a brilliant craftsman. And I through his videos that he made in the past, loved them all, absolutely loved them all, and I actually even learned many things from Klaus. So I can't speak any more highly of a man like I can with Frank, and I thank him for his many years, and I thank him for what he taught many people, thousands of people around the world, tens of thousands of woodworkers around the world. So my preference is 1:6, and some people prefer 1:7. Other people have all these different other numbers. I prefer 1:6, and I've been doing 1:8 for a very long time, and I never ever liked it. So I pulled out my trusty bevel gauge that you can't buy anymore, and I actually fixed it, and now when it locks, this is very solid, but if I applied enough pressure to it, I could move it. But the thing is that with this being solid as it is, my knife or pencil will never move this, and that's what's important. It's not important that I can be a bodybuilder or a grab a clamp and then see if I can move it that way, like on those premium ones. The thing is that if you can clamp this to stay in position without it moving just because you're making a mark, to me that's a good tool, and this is what I've done to that tool. And I think I've uploaded that video on my previous YouTube account that I had many subscribers, over, I don't know how many, over 50,000, something like that. I made a video of it and I uploaded how to turn this into a premium one. But I know that you can't buy this anymore, so that video is probably, there's no point in it. So what I did to get the 1 to 6 is that I placed a ruler and I measured 1 to 6. I measured, 6 inches. And then across, I measured and marked 1 inch. And then from there to there, I drew the line, and that's the angle of 1 to 6. So what I'm going to do now is cut the tails, and I'll probably redefine these lines, these knife lines, and I'll do this on both sides, and then I will proceed to do the base. So this is my Dovetails saw. It's a Lee Nielsen, and it's a 15 ppi rip. So what I do, this has got to be dead 90 degrees, okay, the cut. And unfortunately, the lighting in here is not very good. So at first I just kiss the surface, okay, until I establish a line. Try not to go over that line. So now I do the same thing again. Now this time you can, instead of putting your thumb like that, you can actually do it this way. And then, so you put your nail right on that line there, and then you can bring your saw up to it, okay? So now it's just rinse and repeat. You just do the same thing on this side. What you can do, you can also tilt the saw, right? And cut like that, almost to reaching the bottom, and then the saw will now just follow that curve. It's set. And then here again, done. So now I can take that off. Now if you want, you can make a knife mark and make a knife wall, and then somewhere for your saw to ride in. I honestly can't see what I'm doing. This is ridiculous. I don't have what you would call a flashlight. I literally can't see from the shadow where I'm placing these. It's crazy, because I have the workshop or the garage door open. So I left a bit of meat there because I didn't want to go into the showcase. That's always a good idea, but I literally cannot see what I'm doing. And I did forget to actually knife all this in, which is a bit late now. No, I can't see what I'm doing. I'm actually doing this blind now. Doing that blind. And here is another thing, that this is a rip saw. I do have a crosscut saw, also by Lee Nielsen, small one. But back in the 18th century, this is what they used. The rip for everything. For ripping, for cross-cutting, and in this case, there was actually no problem with it. And it's, yeah, it does feel a little bit awkward, I admit it. It's not as free when cutting, but I actually prefer the rip over the over the crosscut. So what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to first, well, actually I'm not. I'll take off the center portion out. I could have gone closer to the line, but I didn't. So now comes the chopping out part. So I start on the very end here. I never start on the knife line because this spotting material will push the chiseling towards the showcase. So I want to get rid of that as much as possible. And I always just go halfway, I never go all the way. Shit, this is ridiculous, I've got to open the door. Hopefully some light comes in now. Now I can go right into that knife line. Okay, so my chisel needs sharpening. It's to my standards, it's pretty blunt. So what I can do is just temporarily sharpen it by using a stripe. And this is really where you need now a super sharp chisel to do this, especially on shit wood like this. And you can also check like this to see how much or how well you've progressed. So I'm going to finish this off on both sides, as I need for you to watch it all, and then I'll start on that one there. Well, I might as well show it now. I made a big mistake. See, I initially knifed it to this mark, here, but I didn't take into the consideration that the base is not the same thickness as this, which this is, I can't remember what it was. So I now corrected that and I've re-sawn those lines, and I'm going to fix the rest of this up. Okay, so what I've done here is that I've undercut this underside, right, and I used a rabbet plane for that, so it creates a step. So this thing doesn't inadvertently move like that, and that's also something that Alan Peters came up with. Like I said, it was a brilliant craftsman. So hopefully when we get this properly lined up, once again I'm competing with the shadows. I think I'm not going to do this because I'm not going to compete with the shadows. I can't see what I'm doing. I do want to get it done though. God, I don't have anything other than the phone that I'm using to record this. I think this will be right now. So I'm going to place a lot of pressure on here, and with the knife I'm going to make very light cuts because this knife wants to follow the grain. You know, it's a lot simpler for me just to use a pencil if it will go in there, barely. But what I've done is I've already chiseled. I'll just refresh the edge. I made it into a chisel edge. So this way, I line up against the dovetail. I literally am just working in the dark here. I can't see a single thing. I'm just feeling the walls and I just snapped it because I can't see what I'm doing. What a shame. And great, I fluked it. So what I can do tomorrow when there's more light, I'm not going to re-knife the edge because that would be just silly. But split the line and it should be a snug fit. So I'll mark this and I'll work on it tomorrow.